Okay, on this episode, what I want to do is that I want to hip y'all on to a little secret, a small secret, but it's the biggest secret in the world. And this secret is about a group of extraterrestrial beings, different groups of extraterrestrial beings that have learned how to beat karma. And not only that, they have learned how to create karma and place karma on other beings, on lesser beings, beings that are lesser than themselves. These extraterrestrial beings have learned the code, and now they are as in a state, in a phase to where they're on an advanced gaming state. We play games here, but we play video games, but they playing games with people's lives, and they've learned how to create this new karmic code based upon mastering the knowledge of the brain and mastering the knowledge of the mind. And they have began to reprogram not only beings' realities, but reprogram the world that beings live in without even making themselves known and making themselves present. And you know how they do this? They do this because they have mastered the mind to a point where they can suggest, not just suggest, but they can essentially hack into your mental code and the way you think, and begin to put you into certain patterns, begin to put you into a situation where you do predictable things every day. And this is how they do this, and it may sound very basic, but I'm going to give you some examples so that you can figure out as to whether or not you've been pre-programmed. Do you decide your reality? Are you a victim of someone else's karma? See, karma is based upon memories. It all goes back to memories. And to understand karma, you have to understand the past. Karma is all about the past. If you want to master karma, understand karma, it's about learning knowledge about the past, the way the world used to be. And you have past lives, you have past worlds that have existed in the past. So you have to get a good amount of information to understand the past if you want to reprogram your karma, because your mind essentially is just like a computer, like I've talked about in other episodes. And computers, if you know anything about computers, your brain is like a computer actually. Your mind is like the internet. So your brain is like a computer, and if you know anything about computers, you can store information on a computer. And when you store a certain amount of information on a computer, say for instance you have stuff stored on your home page on your computer, every time you log into your computer, put your username and stuff in, you expect to see the same things on your home page that you saw yesterday, right? Because you have stored this on your computer. Well, this is the same thing that extraterrestrials do with people's minds, and they use with people's brains, because your brain is like the computer, your mind is like the internet. So you may get files from the internet, right? You download them from the internet, you store them on your personal computer. So they put ideas out there into the universe, and they put thoughts out there and put energy out there into the universe. And if they get you to feed into it, then you begin to accept this as your reality. And these thoughts could have been old thoughts from the past, memories from the past, could have been the thoughts of someone else. But all they got to do is get you to download this programming into your mind and into your thinking. And then now they have you abducted into this experiment to where you're playing things out over and over again. You have to learn how to reprogram yourself if you want to beat karma. Now, it's a couple of ways that you can kind of diagnose yourself to see as to whether or not, or to define or to discover as to whether or not you are a person that's a victim of a pre-programming. And most people are. 95% of people probably walking this planet are. And one way is to look at your habits. What do you do on a habitual basis? What do you do religiously, which means to do over and over again? Religion means to bind, to tie in, to tie fast, or to hold fast. So what are you binded to? This is your religion. You can say, well, my religion is Jesus, and I go to church, and X, Y, and Z. No, your religion is what you do every day. What holds you. What you feel like if you don't do, you'll lose yourself and your point of reference. Your zero-time reference. And this is how they pre-program you. So they got all of these different religions, which are really just forms of thought floating around out here in the universe. And they get you to a stage, and in the state to where you feed into it, and then you begin to take this on as your religion. You begin to do this over and over again. This becomes your habit. So you think that people that have habits are just people that smoke and drink and things of that nature. Those habits are a lot easier to break. That's not going to help you change your karma just because you stop smoking or drinking. A lot of times. Actually, sometimes if you smoke or drink, you may go outside the box of karma. That's why drugs are looked down upon in this society, which is a whole other story. You may begin to start thinking outside the box with the use of certain drugs. And of course, you can get hooked on them and create imprints in the brain to where you feel like you need these drugs. But I'm speaking of a bigger picture here. There's a bigger picture to habits than just drugs. You are in the habit of going to work every day. You feel like if you lose your job or if you don't go to work every day, that you're not going to be able to have the same quality of lifestyle, so you feel like you have to go to work. This is a programming. You don't know what's going to happen. But you are scared to break out of that because you have downloaded this and this became your religion. This is binding you. This is holding you. This is tying you to a certain mindset, which ties you to a certain reality or a group of people that think that same way. And then this creates what's called group karma. So then they got groups of people that think the same way. And this is how you control a society. You see, by playing with their mind and downloading things onto their brain and getting them to accept that reality. So you have to look at your habits. What do you do on a habitual basis? You may be in the habit of feeling like if you don't, say for instance, if you don't come home for dinner at a certain time, the whole world is going to go out of whack. Or if you don't have your cable, and if you can't pay your cable bill, the whole world is going to go out of whack. This is a habit. This is something that you believe in your mind. You pre-program yourself in your mind. But guess what? This is blocking you and holding you back from being able to write your own story, to create your own reality. You cannot create your own reality if you are controlled by karma. A true reality. You have to create, I'm talking about to create a true reality for yourself. You cannot be controlled by any type of karma. And the thing is that most of us are, and this is why we have trouble creating our reality. We say, well, our thoughts become things and things of that nature, so I'm going to start thinking different, and then everything's going to change. No, you can't just think different. You got to do different. Because what happens now, we're going to go into the second phase of this video. What happens is that the past becomes now. This is how they program you. The past becomes now. So you begin to become an actor. And you feel like you have to act the certain way that you learned how to act in the past based on your habits, so that things will continue to go the way that they go. And you're programmed to think if you don't act this way, things may go haywire and you may lose control. And they use your ability to control and manipulate things in your reality against you. Because the reason why you don't want to change is because you have control issues. You don't want to change what you did yesterday because you can't control the outcome because you don't know. You're in the other land. You're in this new land. If you decide to do something different. Say for instance, this is why like salespeople excel and make a lot more money than people that just work on an hourly basis, because a salesperson can't look at the past, like they can't look at yesterday and think that yesterday is going to be like today. They have to write a new script for today. So they learn how to break out of karmic patterns. Yesterday is no guarantee yesterday is going to be like today. No other animal has this. It's no guarantee that if a bird ate yesterday that bird's going to find food today. It's no guarantee that if a hyena ate yesterday that hyena is going to find food today. But they are willing to accept that, so they're more creative than you. Animals are. You have lost your creativity because of past life and past thought patterns that you've accepted as your own. And what you have to remember is a lot of these thought patterns were put out there purposely into the universe a long time ago, and we just keep playing them out over and over again. And this is why the world can't get anywhere. So you never get a chance to write your will, which is the future. See, life is nothing but past, present, and future. You see, was, then, and will, which is the future. So you never begin to write your will. And when you do write your will, let me take that back. Because, we're trying to build on this thought here. You write your will, but you write your will predicated upon the past. So your future becomes what you experienced in your past, because you're writing it right now. By doing the same thing that you was doing yesterday, today, you writing the future for tomorrow, because you keep the programming going. It's just like a record. It just keeps spinning around. So you don't have records anymore. We download everything from the internet. But back in the day, they had records, and records are circular. They listened to music on records. And the record just kept spinning around over and over again. You see these lines inside of the record. That's the information stored on the record. That's how your brain works. Those lines in your brain that look like wrinkles, that's information. Those are habitual patterns, thought patterns that have been downloaded and stored into your mind. And it only takes 21 days to form a habit or to break a habit. 21 days, that's it. So you can change your whole life in 21 days by just doing something different, trying something new. But you got to try something new. So you write your will, or you think your will in the now for tomorrow, and your will becomes the past. And then you talking about you don't want to come back to this place. We got people saying, well, I don't want to come back here to this planet, man. Like, I just want to figure out what I was here to experience and do and get out of this situation. But the thing is that you're going to constantly keep coming back and reincarnating over and over again in the same situations, in the same circumstances, maybe in a different body, and maybe with, a different sex, or maybe a different race, a slightly different perspective. But it's the same story. You're going to have the same story because you have to learn how to write your will now, to the point where you will know in your heart as to whether or not you won't come back again. You will be able to tell yourself that before you transform and transcend this plane, if you do this exercise properly. So you want to reprogram these habits and these habitual patterns that you have formed for yourself. It's more than just rethinking. You see, everybody's saying thoughts create things, thought creates your reality. It's about redoing, or not redoing, but undoing. You have to undo the karmic binds and ties and the religious ties that you have to your, not just to this society and to the thing that you are caught up in, like the job, but it's in your mind. It's something in you that's been encoded in you that you have to cleanse yourself from and break. And this works the same way with smoking. People that smoke, the reason why they smoke is because they smoke at certain times, right? Or people that are habitual drinkers, they drink at certain times. So if that's something that you want to break, and that's something that you need to stop doing, then you have to go to the root of it. It's not the cigarette or the cigar or the blunt or whatever it is that you're addicted to. It's not that. It's the actual process of what you do while you're smoking. Like some people they watch television while they smoke. Some people have chill with their homies while they smoking a blunt. Passing the 40 around while they, out kicking it in the hood. And that's the habitual pattern, is really the peer pressure or the social networking that you experience while doing this particular act. So it's not the act in itself and if smoking is something that's really causing you think if smoking or drinking is something that's causing you to get caught up in a bigger habitual thought pattern, then you stop doing that. But I'm not even saying you have to really stop smoking and drinking to rewrite your script. It's deeper. You got to go deeper than that. See, the Egyptians, they spent their whole lives rewriting a will for themselves. That's right, their will, which is the future. And you say, well, what do you mean by that? Because they spent their whole lives preparing for their death, which was writing their will. And death is what you experience on the other side. As far as death is based upon memories. When you go to the halls of Ma'at and they say she's going to weigh your heart, she's not going to weigh your physical heart. She's going to weigh your etheric heart, which links to your memories and your mind and your habitual patterns, to see as to whether or not is your creative will stronger than the habitual patterns that you got caught up into in this life. And if they aren't, she sends you back into the cycles or the circle of reincarnation. So you have to figure out a way to reincarnate back to this plane. And the thing about reincarnating back under the same circumstances, you're attracted back. So you're going to have to attract similar situations to get yourself back here, which guess what? You just put yourself into the same habitual pattern. Because the reason why you coming back may have been because you really were supposed to be a mathematical genius, and you were supposed to invent all of these different things in this planet that would change the reality for other people. You were supposed to be this math genius, but you decided not to use that part of yourself, and you decided to just go teach at a university. And it's cool, you know, you live in this life, but you really weren't happy because you were like, man, I had all these inventions when I was a kid, but I didn't play them out. I didn't demonstrate them. So then when you go to the halls of Ma'at, and she weighs your heart is going to be too heavy. Your etheric heart or your etheric blueprint is going to be too ingrained into your etheric body, and you won't be able to experience a new creative reality because of the fact that you didn't create this new reality for yourself while you were here. You didn't experience a new reality for yourself while you were here. So now you're going to have to reattract yourself back into a situation where you may be good at math. You may not be an inventor this time around. You know, you may not invent gadgets this time around. You may be good at math or in a situation. You may want to invent some new form of transportation this time around. But the bottom line is that you're going to have to attract yourself under similar circumstances, which means you're going to have to attract parents that fit that type of script and bring these parents together. And they're going to have sex and then have you get married and go through all of this stuff to bring you into this reality just so you could do the same thing over and over again. And this is how even on a spiritual level you get caught in habitual patterns. So the Egyptians, they wrote their will. And that's what the pyramids are. The pyramids are their will. They spent their whole lives preparing for their death. Sleeping in coffins, meditating. Bringing certain objects with them so that certain physical objects that you think are addictions, like the Egyptians, they had tobacco inside of their chambers. They had marijuana inside of their chambers. They brought all kind of stuff. They had their art utensils and stuff like that. They were buried with this stuff so that when they came and hovered over their body and revisited their body, they would remember like, oh, yeah, I already experienced all of this. That's the tobacco that I experienced all. I don't have to come back here. And then they go transcend, or they're attracted to the other side because it's not a thought. Essentially, when you get to the other side, it's more of an attraction. This is more of a energy. Your energy is either going to be attracted to the other side so that you can go to the new reality and get a new body and gain new experiences, which is what true unlimited progress is, or you will be attracted to this side. So it's kind of like, which side are you going to be attracted to? And they would bury themselves with these different objects so that they could activate their genetic memory and the memory that's stored in their, not just their DNA, but the memory that's stored in their light body, so that they could remember, so that they will be lucid enough to remember even while on the other side. Like, oh, I already experienced it. I don't need this. You could tell a lot about your habitual patterns by your dreams. What do you dream about over and over again? Do you always have violent dreams? Do you always have dreams where you're traveling? Do you always have dreams, you know, where you are sad? Do you always have dreams where you having sex, you know, or doing all of this? Do you always have dreams where you using drugs? These are, your dreams play out your habitual thought patterns. This shows that you have not overcame certain thought patterns. And then some of your dreams show your wishes and your true will and what you want to do. So you may say, I have dreams about myself traveling, but I never travel. But that's your spirit intervening into the dream, or your higher self or your soul intervening into the dream and letting you know, like, yo, you need to be experiencing this. You're supposed to be traveling. You're supposed to be moving around. Why are you stuck here? You're stuck here because of habitual thought patterns. We are creatures of habit, but we really aren't. We're really just creatures. In the term creature, you see create. We're supposed to be creating. And creating means doing something new. Something that's never been done before. And it may be something that, you know, somebody else has already created, but something that's new to you. Something that you've never done before. I'll close this video down with this statement that was taught to me. If you want to do what you never done, you have to be who you never were. If you want to experience what you've never experienced, You have to be who you never were. Very important. We have to reprogram ourselves. Become higher beings. Write your own will. See, they have us thinking that writing a will for ourselves is something that old folks supposed to do. You ain't supposed to write your will till you about to die. And you write down all your assets and who you going to pass it on to. No, you're writing your will every day. That book that you have that you want to write, that's your will. That rap CD that you want to make, that's your will. See, this is magic. You playing magic in this reality. Every time you create a new project, any creative project that you do, that's your true will. Any creative project, even if it's just writing a blog, that's your will. You have to continue to do that. You have to continue to write your will every day. Every day you wake up, write a new will for yourself. And that's what you pass down to your children. That's what you pass down to your family. So that's how you reprogram your reality. Right now, you're writing a will for yourself based upon what you thought about yesterday. So you're writing a will for yourself because you're going and typing at the desk, and say for instance you're an accountant and you working for somebody else and you hate being an accountant. You type in somebody else's will and that becomes your will. So now your karma is caught up into their karma. See how we can be programmed on a metaphysical level and not even realize it? This is how they did it, man. Extraterrestrials were past genius. They are in a realm of unlimited progress. This is what true unlimited progress is creating your will. It's not about how much money you got or anything like that. It's about you experiencing a new life for yourself. Recreating your will, reinventing yourself every day. Take on a new job. If you get in a new field, go to school for a subject that you didn't go to school for. Do something new. You got to go crazy. You got to forget about yourself so that you can become something different. Forget about who you were yesterday. Yesterday does not exist. Only up here, it's gone. And really, it never did exist. It was just yesterday was just you taking in data from yesterday and stored it in your mind. That's why you remember it. The outside environment is nothing but data, man. That's all it is data. And you taking in that data while you looking at it. You taking it in through your eyes. Light code transmissions. You taking it in through your mind. You got to reprogram yourself. Become a new being every day. Write your will. Speak your will. Think your will. Meditate on your will. These are the tools to help to free yourself from past life imprints. Try it out. Just start writing every day. Start speaking, recording yourself speaking every day. Start thinking different every day. So I'm going to think about this today. It could be anything. Something wow. You may just every day think about how much money you got in the bank. Don't think about that no more. Think about something else. Recreate your will. Rewrite your story. I'm going to go ahead and shut down. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. I wish you the best. Overcome karma. Let's beat it. Hotep. Amen.